Hey guys, this is Peter, and ever since we lost our beloved, well, terrarium, people have been looking for a new APK to replace it. So I've been sitting back a little bit waiting, but you know what I want to do? I want to show you how I vet applications, how I look at them and decide whether or not I want to run this on my PC. So first off, you have to know, where do you get them? Well, I always look to get applications, anything I download, from the source. So that's my first thing I look for. Here, you can go to Kodi Apps. Kodi Apps is a great site. They have add-ons for Kodi. They have builds for Kodi. There we go, add-ons and builds. They also have some APKs. Now, Kodi's still working great. There are some great builds out there. I'm running Durex. It just recently updated because Placenta went down, and now if you update it or load a new one, it's running Yoda, I believe, and that seems to be working great. I've got to get my real Debrid up and working once again, but then I'm all aces. But let's take a look at APKs. Here's the top trending APKs, and yeah, a couple of these are recognizable. This happens to be TTV. So the first thing I want to look at when I'm evaluating this program is, what is it supposed to do? All right, it's a free 1080p movies and TV shows for Android devices. I like that. Key, can I get it from their site? Do they have their own site? Yes, they do. I like that. All right, so far there's one check. Relatively good looking site. Same messaging. It's free, it's TV, it's TTV. Oh, it does have two versions. All right, so there's an Android version, nice, and a PC version, like that too. I'm going to click on this, and when I went here and clicked on Windows, immediately I thought, wow, that's really nice. There's source code here, so it's kind of, open kimono and showing you what's going on. However, they lost that credibility as soon as I clicked on it and saw that there's no code there. It really is. If anything, there's pseudocode that says they have a two-step process. Basically, they have a web crawler, crawls the web, and then they have a URL resolver, which is, of course, kind of obvious. So that's where they take the link and make it into a stream. I did go ahead and look at earlier versions just in case and looked for the source code here. It's not there. So I think when you say that, hey, of course I'm a U.S. citizen, here's my birth certificate, and you click on it and there's no birth certificate, it's a coupon to Baskin Robbins, it makes you think, wow, that was weird. Why did you try to present something I didn't even ask for and then lose credibility doing it? But that said, I went ahead and ran it anyway. Undeterred, I fired up my VPN and ran the application anyway. I want to see what this thing does. Make sure that it's not seeding. So here's my VPN program. And yes, IPVanish is the VPN that I'm using, and they are having a sale right now. But we'll get to that in a minute. See this different colors of green? The ones that are dark green are traffic that I'm pulling down, and the lighter green is traffic that I'm pushing up. I want to make sure that when I'm running this program that I see lots of dark green and very little light green. So let's get to it. I am running a VPN right now. I'm running one that is local here where I live. So I have very low latency, but my bandwidth could be better. I can tweak that. So here, IPVanish does have a sale going on. It's for new customers only. The way they tell new customers is by an email address, but they do have it for $3.79. It's a 2-year plan. It costs like $90, but 2 years, you're done. Okay, let's go ahead and run that program. This is TTV. I'll put a link to that because it is a neat promo. This is TTV. This is what it looks like. It looks a lot like Terrarium. It is pretty good. It's not high quality as Terrarium, especially the PC version. PC version is not the same as the APK version. They're pulling different qualities levels of sources. Here, for example, this one, it's brand new. It's called Mag. I should be able to look at sources right here that are 1080p. In fact, if I run the APK, they are 1080p. Look at this. I see 480. I see 720. I see none of 1080p. Not so on the APK. Not sure why that happens. It's got two buttons here. This one's for stream. This one was for download. I would suggest probably not downloading, but it's up to you. And you might say, hey, you're running a VPN, why not? But, streamers pride or streamers rules, I don't know. I'm okay with streaming, but when you copy it, it's a different thing. And when you redistribute it, it's another thing. So let's make sure we're not redistributing. So I'm going to go ahead and click this button, and I'm going to shrink the window because it's not really about what we're streaming here, because what I want you to look at is this. See that? See that giant green blob? That is the... here, I'm going to turn off the volume because we don't need to hear that either. That giant green blob is data coming down. Now you might be saying, why is it coming down in little bursts? That's characteristic of streaming. It streams, it fills your cache, and of course you're watching a very large file over a very long time. An hour and a half is an incredibly long time. So this is what streaming traffic looks like, and I'm seeing that it's all down, very little up. I see little bursts coming up. Those are probably other programs that are running. You can always check that. Of course, you don't need a VPN to check that. Here, I'm going to go to my task manager. And there's processes running, of course. There's the performance. And of course, I lit up my Ethernet and I can see the traffic going both ways. I can also go to Open Resource Monitor and open this network tab. I don't need the CPU one, but the network tab. What I want to be able to see is the ones that identify themselves as TTV. There it is. I see 0 going up and lots coming down. That's the kind of stuff you want to see. So I know that I'm not seeding. You might see a bit or, a couple bits going. That's not a big deal. What you want to do is make sure that you're not seeding, because that is a different a different thing altogether. So I'm going to cancel this. That's how I vet a program and see. People say, hey, is this one seeding? You can tell yourself. You can run the tools in Windows. You can also run a VPN. I actually like running VPNs, regardless of which one you get. Run a VPN. Things just changed with the new NAFTA. It's called USMCA now. And they have all sorts of new things incentivizing ISPs to, curtail streaming. So, and that's not just, people say, well, illegal streaming is bad, but it's not just that. Netflix and Hulu and all of those are in major jeopardy, because if you allow your internet service provider to decide which traffic gets the fast lane, well, that's what's going to happen. I kind of predict the future to be, and I'm seeing it already, AT&T just put up fiber in my neighborhood, and they have amazing gigabit speeds. However, you can't just buy an internet connection. You need to buy bandwidth. And even though their current packages have bandwidth that exceeds my needs, not really, but exceeds most people's needs, and it tries to entice them, I'm never going to use that much. BS. Your bandwidth needs are growing all the time. They know that if they get you to give up the full contract now, it'll be easier to get you later. So what they're going to do is exempt their services, their Netflix-like stuff, and say, hey, if you use our service, same price as Netflix, same content, you're not going to be charged for any of that bandwidth. It's not going to count against you. It's going to be a freebie. So that's how they're probably looking to swing this all in their favor. I don't think that's an open internet, and I think net neutrality needs to come back. But until then, all we can do is run a VPN and vote. Well, guys, there you go. That's how I vet an application. It also is good when you download it to right-click it and have Windows scan it if it's on Windows. But you do the same thing with the VPN. So on an Android box, this is like the only tool that I use to tell what's going up and what's coming back down is your VPN. Anyway, guys, I'll put a link to the VPN down below. Of course, you don't need to get a VPN, but I highly recommend one. If you already have a VPN, it's probably good enough. One thing I highly recommend if you already have a VPN is run this DNS leak test. Make sure it's going where you thought it was coming from. In fact, I'm going to tell you something even else so you get better results. Go into your incognito window, not because you don't want anybody to see you running it, but because you want a cache-less environment. This has no cache. Boom. I'm coming from Costa Mesa. There we go. I'm going to look at my standard test. I can see who's providing my DNS, my domain name service. What I usually do, I can tell I don't have it on because I want to see IPVanish in my list, and only IPVanish. That's because I normally have this one, Enable DNS Leak Protection. and that way I don't get Google in there as well. Even with my no big deal though, because my IP thing is being encrypted, but it doesn't matter that Google's doing it. But I really don't want to see my internet service provider providing my DNS, because that way they're still keeping track of where I'm going. Anyway, guys, there you go. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Talk to you soon.